A new initiative, #FixPolitics, geared towards re-engineering Nigeria's political space, will be publicly launched today. Former Education Minister and 2019 presidential candidate Obi Ezekwesili, who is championing this cause, says that there is a huge imbalance in the political tripod that favors politicians against the masses, and this must be addressed. Now, the mission of the #FixPolitics Initiative is to educate the electorate about their rights, imbibe a culture of demanding accountability, as well as develop a political class of servant leaders. Joining me now to discuss this is the chairperson, Transition Monitoring Group, Dr. Abiola Akinode Afolabi. It's nice to have you join me in the studio.
It's a pleasure to be
Great.
here.
Now, when it comes to talk about politics, oftentimes Nigerians either misunderstand what the agenda is, or sometimes deliberately become suspicious. Who is behind it? Where is he from? What is the agenda? What is the end point? And things like that. But Nigerians have all agreed informally that basically something has to be done about the way we go about our politics. Talk to us about this.
Well, the FixPolitics Initiative is actually an initiative for concerned citizens, people who have been involved in electoral processes in Nigeria and who have been contributing to try to see that we get it right. Yeah. For example, myself, I'm the chair of Transition Monitoring Group for almost 4 years. We have the head of YAGA. We have other people from Situation Room and other places who, at one point in time, have been trying to see how, they can address the problem with there's a problem with Nigerian politics. And so this movement is bringing all of us together. And it's an evidence-based movement, believing in the work that a lot of people have done. And it's also an intergenerational, movement.
Okay. If we have to narrow it down to the specifics, what areas of politics does the Fix Nigeria initiative want to address?
Now, when we said that you talked about the triangular, like a tripod that we're looking at, first is that we realized that there's a need to further engage the citizens. So there's a working group that is dealing with making research and engaging with the citizens. There's another group that's talking about the need for us to change, the kind of political class that we have, so that it becomes people are value-driven. And the third set is looking at the conversation that we're having, which is work study group 3, looking at constitutional reform, electoral reform. Okay. Now, if you recall, for a period of time now, we have had several conversations around electoral and constitutional reform. If you remember the UWIS report, one of the things that the UWIS report talked about is the need for proportional representation as opposed to the first past the post. And one of the agenda of that report is also to see what we can do to raise the bar of our politics, to re-engineer the entire political structure so that it becomes a political structure that's people-driven. And that's what politics is looking at. We're also looking at ensuring that we have a political class that can be respected. A group of people who understand what politics is all about, who are committed to ensuring that we move Nigeria forward. We don't want to continue having some old recycled, politicians who have not really contributed much, to development of the society. Politics must be able to have a nexus with development. It must be able to move the country in a transformative way. So the whole idea of fixed politics is to see how we get to that level where we have transformative leaders who can change the country.
All right. Now, when it comes to the use of technology or ICT and all of that in politics, in the past decades, we've not seen the impact of that much. But right now, social media and all of that is coming in and it's driving the way things are going. But it doesn't seem everybody in politics is happy with it, especially if you see from the reports on the move to regulate social media and all of that. It tells you that there is a section that is not comfortable with that. So what is the place of social media and its use and rightful use in the initiative that you're coming up with?
Well, the initiative is very much online. And of course, as you know, that majority of the young people are on the social media,
Yeah.
and they're the target audience because they're actually the one that's going to lead the country to another level. So, so social media, it's one of the tools we're using in terms of public campaign, engaging with people. Hashtag is running on social media, and we've had quite a huge movement of young people who are on social media who are logging into the FixPolitics Initiative. That's where the society is going. Even if you look at the whole electoral system, it's also responding to technology, the use of ZPAD and what have you. So the FixPolitics sees that as an opportunity, and we're going to expand on that to see as many Nigerians as possible get the right information through the social media.
How is this initiative engaging the establishment, those who are in there right now, who may be involved or who may be in charge or who have been running politics for decades or for many years right now? How is the initiative engaging them? Because a lot of persons have said instead of the confrontation, there should be a situation where we engage and complement each other and make each other understand as to how we have to drive the new change.
Well, the initiative, it's going to be organizing a lot of public dialogues.
Okay.
We're going to be having webinars, and we're targeting different stakeholders. INEC is very key because there's also a need to reform, the entire process in such a manner that there's been a lot of development with INEC, but there's a need to also contribute more to that, to make it much more effective. Like today's dialogue, for example, we're having Professor Jaga. It's one of those people who are speaking. We have people who have also been in politics who are also talking. So the FixPolitics Initiative, it's very open, to having conversation with everyone. But it's important that we ensure that we elevate the office of the citizens. We can't continue having politics that does not recognize, the ability of the people, that does not contribute to a transformative change, in the society. So we are engaging INEC, we'll be engaging INEC, we'll be engaging political parties, we'll also be engaging young people and also Nigerian citizens in general.
All right, talking about a servant leader, what really makes a servant leader? Everyone wants to be a leader, from the schools to the highest point. Everyone wants, in fact, the 2-3 persons are gathered, somebody wants to be a leader. There's this quest for leadership by everyone, one way or the other. But the quality of leadership is what is a different discussion altogether. But what makes a servant leader? Because it's like paradoxical, talking about the servant and being a leader, even though we know what it means. But how do you generate that kind of a personality? Well,
a servant leader must be a leader that is value-driven. It must be a leader who listens. It must be a leader who is open, who is transparent, who is accountable, to his people. Because servant leadership is about accountability. It must be someone that's accessible, to its people. And I think that's the problem that we have. We rarely get a disconnect, between the people and the leadership. And if we have that kind of disconnect, what that means is that there's going to be a kind of problem that we have currently, where there's a gap between the people and the people that are leading them. So servant leader is that accountable leadership, that is ready to listen, that is ready to inform, that's ready to ensure participation, that is ready to ensure that the people define and determine the kind of society that they want.
All right. Are we seeing the possibility of a FixPolitics Nigeria or FixPolitics Initiative or the movement transforming into a political party maybe sometime to come?
Well, that's not part of the agenda.
Yes.
It's a non-political organization, and that's why people like us are in it. The whole essence of this is that there's a problem. We need to fix it, and that's why FixPolitics has become an alternative for all of us, as an umbrella to push.
What kind of obstacles or resistance do you foresee? Because if you're planning things, especially when it comes to politics, you know that there's certainly going to be some level of resistance here and there. What do you foresee?
Well, we have looked at some of the risk factors. One is first convincing people that it's a non-political initiative. Right. And because our value system have gotten to a level that we rarely trust, initiatives that people bring along. So it's important for us to try to communicate, to the mass of the Nigerian people to be part of this. And it's not elitist in any way. We're linking up with grassroots. There's a school of politics, that's going to be established, and people are going to understand and learn more about valued leadership through that school. We also look at from the angle of the state, especially because there's a political system that is very strong, that is finding very difficult even to quit for the new entry into politics. We also see that from that angle, there might be some kind of challenges. There might be an attempt to push, to push back. But with negotiation, with conversation, what is important to us is to get things right for the country. So, and I think that will be the guiding principle, to keep working to ensure that we are true to our cause. The initiative is non-political. The initiative is providing the alternative. There's a problem Nigerians want to see an alternative. They want a different discussion. So what the FixPolitics Initiative is doing is to provide that opportunity, for people to have that conversation. We need to talk. Something is wrong. So if you look at even the recent election, from Ondo to Edo, the same problems. So if you look at that and just look back to 2014 or 20, you see that it's the same problem. So we can't continue running in that way. So something must shift. And that is what the Fix Initiative is talking about, the need for us to shift that culture of not getting things right in our politics, to move to a culture that would save the country and through our political push.
Do you have time frames and deliverables within periods of time that you want to see with what you're coming up with now?
Yeah, the School of Politics is starting almost immediately. Okay. We are going to be sending things out after today's meeting where people would register and feel some expression of interest, to be part, of the school where people will be trained. And it's an intergenerational school. It doesn't really matter whether you have been in politics before. If you look at the model of the school, it's something that's quite interesting that a whole lot of people can learn from. On the other part also, on electoral reform, the process currently, recently the Senate President inaugurated the Electoral Constitution Review Committee, which is led by the Deputy Senate President. We're going to engage that. We're starting some kind of polling, which we can call a referendum, where we get about 10 million Nigerians to say the kind of constitution they want. So we're going to be engaging. And for us, that's what has been missing. The ability to continue engage, the citizens, particularly on issues that have to do with them. Look at the constitution that we have for over 20 years now. There's been almost 10 attempts, to review and reform that constitution. Still yet, we haven't got to level where everybody in Nigeria can say, what it is in the constitution. Look at the electoral system. Look at the exclusion. Even the fact that we have the not too young to run law has really not made a difference. We still have the same, old people in politics. So those are the kind of things. So we're going to be engaging a whole lot of people. We're going to be pushing the agenda of a new Nigeria forward, through the FixPolitics Initiative. So that's what. All right.
When it comes to mobilizing the people, that's another ball game altogether. Nigeria is very multi-dimensional when it comes to opinions and orientation and all of that. How do you intend to mobilize people across the variety of Nigeria in such a way that it is not seen as coming from a section of the country? Because when it comes to politics, these are some of the very quick pick for a lot of people. Where is it coming from? Who are those behind it and things like that?
Well, as we heard, we have about over 120 individuals, organizations that are part of the work study groups. Okay. And they're from everywhere, from private sector, from non-governmental organization, academia, we have traditional rulers who are also part of, the FixPolitics. We have people who are not educated. So we didn't start by excluding people. So it's a very inclusive process. And for example, Transition Monitoring Group is part of the FixPolitics Initiative. Okay. And we're in the entire 36 states. So we have organizations that have that broad affiliation, that can link up at different levels, whether it's the North, whether it's the South, whether it's the East, So we have those organizations. So part of the mobilization theory is to ensure that this organization, go into the society. We've started like a volunteer, like a kind of community volunteerism processes where we have people who would volunteer from different communities, to be part of the educators, to be part of the people who would engage and empower citizens, across board. So those are the methodology that we're looking at. So we will use the social media. We also use the offline. We have a whole lot of grassroots people who work with grassroots people, traditional rulers who are part of FixPolitics. So we're looking at mobilizing from that different areas.
All right. In the past, certainly, there has been various movement initiative intentions to make a change in the system, politics, economy, all of that, but we're still where we are. So what is different, or what's going to be different about FixPolitics Initiative or this movement?
Well, FixPolitics Initiative came as a result of people understanding that there is a problem.
Okay.
And, that ability to be able to know that we have gotten to a level where we need to sit down, and we discuss the entire political engineering of the Nigerian state, provides that opportunity that people are not, it's not a self-serving thing. People believe that this is a process that we can all be part of. We have everyone from the North, from the East. We have all come together, to say that it's time for us, to find a solution, to the Nigerian problem. So I believe that, the fact that it wasn't as if we were co-opted, it wasn't as if someone is using the other person, so that's would help in terms of moving the agenda forward.
All right. Now, an initiative or a movement like this is certainly not going to be, how do I put it? It's not going to be easy, especially from the area of funding, because you're going to require a lot of funds to ensure that you're able to mobilize and get people on board and all of that. Is everything based on voluntarism, or is there some funds from somewhere, or members of the movement are the ones who are going to fund the initiative or the movement? Well,
this is typically, it's a Nigerian thing.
Okay.
It's a Nigerian thing, and contribution donations would have to come from people who are committed to the process. Okay. We've had a series of meetings. In February, we had a meeting where we look at the whole idea of the fixed politics, the political economy, and all that. So, but it's a Nigerian thing and something that we are committed to. We have realized that for a very long time, the ability to depend on external donors at times, affect the capacity of Nigerians, to be able to push, naturally without, an incentive. So we are gathering together, committed Nigerians, that can support this. So we've been on this for quite like 6 months or thereabouts, and it's been volunteerism. So that's the spirit, and that's what we're pushing forward.
All right. Thank you so much. We wish you well, and for the movement and initiative, we wish you all the best in what you're doing.
Thank you very
Dr.
much.
Abiola Akinode Afolabi, thank you so much for coming on the program. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Right.